What's going on, everyone? So the Miami Heat are really struggling this year and don't seem to have enough talent and scoring to really get themselves over the hump. And they were an in-and-out Jimmy Butler three away from likely being in the NBA Finals, and then who knows what happens. I personally thought Miami last year matched up better against the Warriors than the Boston Celtics did. So who knows what history could have brought had the Miami Heat gotten to the NBA Finals. But also, this team just the loss of PJ Tucker, I think, really had a huge impact. Because he was the muscle, he was the grinder. He provided a lot outside of just the box scores. This team is also a year older. Lowry has not been playing well for a majority of the season. I don't think they have that number one guy, right? Like, I love Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler might be one of my favorite players in the entire league. I just don't know if Jimmy Butler is your best player on a championship team. I think he would be like a super number two guy because he's a guy that doesn't really care about his stats. He just wants to win. He'll go get a triple-double, a 10, 10, and 10 triple-double, or he'll go get you 40, but he's not that consistent night in and night out natural scorer. Right? He's a guy that'll go get 40 just on pure willpower and strength and determination. He's fantastic. And Bam Adebayo having to be, your second option. Again, I don't think he's number two option on a championship contender unless your number one is just, like a Kevin Durant or something crazy like that. I think in reality, like, this team has, a number two playing as a number one, a number three playing as a number two. And I just think that that's a real problem. But the Miami Heat don't have a ton of tradable assets. They don't have a ton of things to really sort of bolster this team to being a contender. But there's constant rumors of trades going on with the Miami Heat. Miami looking to make moves, even just minor ones, and even try to get off guys that are long-term salaries like a Kyle Lowry. And Greg Swartz, he recently suggested this. Miami Heat receive Kyle Kuzma, point guard Monty Morris, and guard forward Will Barton. Washington Wizards receive Kyle Lowry, Hayward Highsmith, and the 2023 first-round pick, lottery protected. Now, here's the thing. This is a terrible trade for the Washington Wizards. Like, this is sounds like a Miami Heat fan trying to get a solid deal. Like, why would the Wizards trade Kyle Kuzma, who has been fantastic for them, Monty Morris, who's been really good for them, Will Barton, I think, he's been solid for them, but I don't think he's a real loss. But to take on Kyle Lowry, who's been terrible, and, his long-term salary, and not just that, but his age and all things that go into it, and you also have a 2023 lottery-protected pick. Like, if that was an unprotected pick, maybe, but look, if the Wizards try to trade Kyle Kuzma right now, they would probably get a nice return for him. He's been great for them. He's a fit-in, plug-and-play type guy, 3-and-D wing with some size, can play small forward, can play power forward. Monty Morris is more of a scoring guard, combo guard than a traditional point guard, but still, I think the Wizards, this is full-on tank mode. And if Bradley Beal didn't leave, if they did a trade like this, I don't know what to, this is a deal, if Bradley Beal is like, I want out and I want you to trade me, and you're blowing it up at this point. But even then, I think Kyle Kuzma, Monty Morris, and Will Barton, the three of them in a package, could get you a better return than Kyle Lowry, Hayward Highsmith, and a 2023 lottery protected. Now, for Miami's side, this makes all the sense in the world. You get a 20-point per game power forward, small forward that you can plug next to your guys. You get a shooter, 3-and-D type player. You get another sort of bench scorer or even starting level scorer for you, and Monty Morris. This is a trade that I think would make Miami better. I think that this is a real trade that could really help Miami in many ways. And then on top of that, you're getting another guard forward that could just provide, off the bench some defense, kind of 3-and-D style. But if this was ever a deal on the table, and you're Miami, you take this. You even give up an unprotected pick for this deal because you're getting Kyle Kuzma, you're getting Monty Morris, you're moving off of Kyle Lowry's contract, which they probably never should have signed to begin with. This would be a heaven sent. This is a insane fleece level deal. in my opinion. Like, look, I'm not saying Kyle Kuzma is like some superstar or anything like that, but he's a really good player. He's been really good for a long time now. He's been a guy that can show that night in and night out, he can go get you buckets. He can knock down the three ball. He can play defense. He's got good size. He's got good length. Like, I mean, Miami with Kyle Kuzma would be a much better team. Like, they'd be really good with Kyle Kuzma just because he's a seamless fit guy. You know, he doesn't need the ball, but if he has the ball, he's effective. Like, he's a guy that can play off the ball, on the ball. He could do a little bit of everything. He's a real easy, just plug and play type player. Monty Morris is a guy that can come in and get you some scoring in a vacuum, even in limited minutes. You know, he's a sort of vacuum scorer. Hot and cold. Like, if you're Miami, this is a deal like you take last week, like, as soon as you can. Like, if this is a legit offer that could be done, I would give up multiple firsts for this deal. Re-sign Kyle Kuzma, or sign him to an extension. Monty Morris, like, you're good. Like, you're in a much better position. But I don't see this making any sense for Washington unless they are just completely blowing it up. But I don't know why they would do that right now when they're actually playing pretty solid. I mean, I don't think they're a contender or anything like that, but they're not in a position to really blow it up, especially with Bradley Beal, unless they're planning on trading Bradley Beal. But even if they are planning on trading Bradley Beal, like, you could probably get a better return for Kyle Kuzma, Monty Morris, and Will Barton. I think you could. And I don't see I just don't see the Wizards being willing to do this deal. Kyle Lowry, like, if he was a point guard off the bench and not making an insane amount of money every year, then yeah, maybe. If he was like $8 million a year, $10 million a year, maybe more teams would want Kyle Lowry, but he's still got multi-years on his deal. He's not the same guy he was. He's been dealing with injuries, on and off the last few years. He's not the guy he once was, right? Like, he would be a solid vet on a team at the right price, but he's not the right price. And swapping Kyle Lowry for Kyle Kuzma and Monty Morris doesn't make you a better team. It makes you a much worse team. I mean, Kyle Kuzma alone is better than Kyle Lowry by himself, and is at least an expiring deal. Just don't see a scenario where this balances out, right? I mean, look, I get it. In some trades, or most trades, one team wins that trade. It's very rare to find like a balanced trade or a balanced deal, but this is like so far top heavy for the Miami Heat. It's insane. The problem is Miami painted themselves into this corner, and they went and got Kyle Lowry, and they signed all these long-term deals, Duncan Robinson, stuff like that. And now they're stuck with these guys, and teams aren't going to want to just take these guys just to take them for Miami. It doesn't make any sense, and Miami doesn't have assets to move off of these guys. Right? Like, they don't have multiple first-round picks that they can just trade away to unload Kyle Lowry's contract or things like that, right? Especially when you have multi-years on the deals. Like, it's just, I don't think that this is a problem. Like, if Kyle Lowry was playing, like lights-out basketball right now, and he was just playing really good and just like, was having one of the best years of his career, then yeah, maybe you could trick some team into taking Kyle Lowry, but the reality is that he's not, and Miami's struggling, and I just don't see a deal like this. Like, maybe you could trade, Kyle Lowry for, some other like longer term deal or something like that. Maybe a team would take him for a veteran if they have like a similar deal, similar contract that they want to move off of. Maybe you could do some kind of swap like that, but in reality, like, for you to just basically unload Kyle Lowry, you're going to have to give up assets. You're going to have to give up something. And to get like two young guys that are actually playing really well this year and leading to wins for the Wizards, even without Bradley Beal. Like, the Wizards are like 5-1 without Bradley Beal this year. And a lot of that has to do with Kyle Kuzma and Monty Morris and, of course, Porzingis. But still, like, why would the Wizards give up like two of their best guys on their team right now for Kyle Lowry that's struggling and is just injury prone and is only getting older and has just a bad deal that no team wanted, and that people were even telling Miami, you should, like, why are you doing that? Why are you signing him to such a long-term deal for that amount of money? But they decided to take that deal. And now Miami's kind of stuck in purgatory, right? Like, they're stuck being this middle of the pack team. And I said before the season began, in the offseason, I thought Miami was not going to be very good. I thought Miami was going to regress a lot. I thought a lot of teams in the East got a lot better. I thought Miami got a year older. They lost some key pieces that I think were important. And I just don't think that they have that go-to scorer. Like, like Tyler Hero's great and can, be a nice scoring punch, but we've seen his production is the same whether he's off the bench or starting. It's not like he went from like, a 20 point per game scorer off the bench to like a 32 point, scorer in the starting lineup. No, I mean, he's giving you basically the same amount of production, same amount of percentages, everything. So, he's better suited for Miami as the sixth man. And, but he wants to start. He's kind of, forced Miami's hand in many ways. They paid him, all that stuff. But they don't have that go-to closeout guy, that guy that can just go get a bucket, something like that. Like, I think if anything, like, they should be like, Kyrie Irving would be great on this team. I don't think Miami would go and get Kyrie Irving, or even if Kyrie got bought out, I don't think Miami would want to sign him because I just don't think he's a Miami guy. But like somebody like that can just go get you a bucket, that can just go score, right? Put the ball in the hoop, get you easy points, right? Like somebody like that, or even I think even like a Russell Westbrook. Like if Russell Westbrook gets traded and gets bought out, I wouldn't mind Miami going and signing Russ. Right? Like, I mean, he's not a scorer, but like his energy and just what he can do night in and night out, I think would be an added benefit to this team. I don't think they'd be able to trade for Russ, but I think if he got bought out, I think Miami should be one of the teams looking at him, and have Kyle Lowry come off the bench. Have Kyle Lowry be your backup. Let Russ go be that guy because he's, as a starter on a team like Miami, he's probably a 20 point per game triple-double guy or close to it. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of this trade? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's very one-sided for Miami like I do? Or do you think, no, like it's fair? However you feel, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the